I'm your host, Carolyn Solo, LCSW, EMDR therapist, and mom of 3 daughters. Thank you for joining me.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 72 of the Future Template Parent Podcast. I am Dr. Carolyn Solo, LCSW, PhD, EMDR consultant, and mom of 3 daughters. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to just speak briefly about something that's been a topic of conversation in my intensives group coaching program of late, and that's marketing burnout. I'm going to talk a bit about what I'm hearing people say about experiencing marketing burnout, why I think it happens, and what we can do about it. So, marketing burnout. Lots of the therapists in my group program have been talking about it, and I completely get it. It is draining to market consistently. It's draining to market in an intense burst of 12 weeks. The therapists in my program are being held to a high standard for marketing right now. I'm asking them to set goals for marketing for every 2-week module of our program and to follow through on those goals. And that's in addition to other goals that I'm asking them to work on in terms of their schedule and fee setting and all this stuff. But definitely, very intentional marketing is required for every single 2-week module of the course. And, they cannot hide. They need to follow through on these goals. They have to put the goals in writing for everyone to see on our private Circle group. If you don't know what Circle is, it's a community platform that hosts groups and courses. My group, we use it as a hub for all of the group elements, pretty much. The links for our Zoom calls, the recordings of the Zoom calls to watch later, a message board, which is very active and people use a lot and has been a great source of support for lots of people, and inspiration. And all the video lessons are also stored there. And one of the posts I make after every single group call asks each group member to list 3 goals for the next 2 weeks. And much of the time, these goals are networking and marketing related, because that's the area in which most of the group members really need to focus. I mean, let's be honest, for most of us who are running our own private practices, marketing and the business side of things, getting clients in the door, is the hardest piece of it in a lot of ways, and is something that most of us could use, a little push to focus on even more. If your practice was full and bursting at the seams and you didn't have time to see all the intensive clients that you want to, you wouldn't need to be doing intensive marketing, right? So you probably wouldn't be in a group like mine. So let me give you some examples of what some of these goals look like, right? Reach out to 3 psychiatrists this week. Follow up with the nurse practitioner who is seeing 2 of my clients. Go to a local EMDR in-person networking meeting. Set up coffee dates with 2 therapists in my network to tell them about my intensive offering. Work on marketing my upcoming workshop. Deliver marketing packets to doctors' offices. Finish web copy for intensives page. Create a posting schedule for Instagram, and so on. Or, post more on Instagram stories, which has been something someone has been focusing on recently, and it's really been helpful. Has helped her book some intensives, in fact. And all of the group members have been working so hard, which is amazing. And I also want to say that where everyone is at in terms of the marketing journey is different, right? Everyone's in their own spot. And so their goals look different there, as a result. I firmly believe that part of the reason they're working so hard and getting these kinds of results is that they are saying these goals out loud to others who can hear them and hold them accountable and provide support when it gets tough. And the Circle board is a great place for that. And people post their wins, people post their questions, people post if they're nervous about something, and then everyone chimes in. It's awesome. So that's one thing. They get the support, and they're also in a coaching container that's requiring them to prioritize marketing, because for so many of us, it's super, super easy to let it fall way, way down on the priority list because it's hard and it's not that fun for most of us. I also think the group members are working as hard as they are because they are paying significant money for this group, right? They are investing significant time, energy, and money into the group, okay? So they need the return on their investment, and they know what they need to do because of the way the course is structured to get that return on investment. So they are doing it, right? Like, they don't want to come out of this having spent thousands of dollars and be like, well, I'm in the same place I started. but that would happen to them if they didn't do the work, right? But the container and the investment sort of demands that of them and holds their feet to the fire. However, the therapists in the group are also very aware of some of the costs of working this hard and this consistently and this intensively, yes, that word again, on marketing. But hey, the program is called the EMDR Intensive, 12-week intensive, for a reason, for many reasons. But one of those reasons is it is intense. It's intensive. You're being asked to do a lot in a relatively short span of time. It's a graduate course timeline, pretty much 12 weeks, right? Like it started in the beginning of September. We're going through right before Thanksgiving, essentially, similar thing to a graduate school course, maybe a little shorter, but same idea. And in some ways, like a graduate course, it takes that same amount of money, the same amount of time, energy, and money, the same kind of investment. But there are costs, right? It is tiring. It is draining to put yourself out there again and again and again, week after week, right? It's draining and at times demoralizing when you're not seeing the results right away to spend 2, 3, 5, 10 hours a week, whatever it is, on marketing. And of course, this marketing is happening on top of the rest of their lives, right? Their normal work life, which we all know is demanding, their family life, their social life, their personal life, not to mention, for everyone in this group, we're all in the United States, the 2024 presidential election, right? That's in the background of all of this. Our next group call is the day before the election. It's not hard to see why many of the members are feeling burnt out by the work of marketing. And trust me, it is not something that I have any desire to do, is increase burnout for any mental health professional. However, I think that one of the things that happens in a group like this, you are putting in a ton of energy and time investment during the course of the group, and ideally you start to reap some of the benefits as the group progresses, and you start to realize that those benefits are just going to increase because of all the work that you've put in already. So it's been really cool because we're starting to see in the group people who are starting to reap the rewards, right? I think at this point, there are 4 group members who have done at least an intensive of one day, like a long stretch. And there are some people that have booked 3-day intensives and are going to have them probably in the next few weeks. So that's the kind of results people are getting. And we still have essentially 3 more weeks of the group to go. So they've been putting in the groundwork, laying the groundwork, doing all the door knocking, just like door knocking, but you know what I mean? So much work now, at this very intensive pace, because they're going to start to reap the benefits. And the expectation is that they will not need to continue at this pace once the group is over, right? Yes, we want them to continue marketing. You don't ever stop marketing, but sort of the fever pitch at which they're doing it now, they will not need to maintain. So that is the goal. And ideally, they're moving towards a pattern of marketing that's more sustainable and feels less burnout-y. But, I do try to acknowledge how hard they're working and name that, yeah, this is really hard. And what I want to talk about next is, why does it feel so hard? And why does this type of energy put into networking in this way and marketing feel so draining and kind of give us this sense of I'm going to burn out on this? So why is marketing burnout something that is happening to this group of therapists that I'm working with and that I imagine a lot of you feel at different times? I think a big reason, frankly, is that we don't do it consistently, right? That in general, we think of marketing as something that we have to do at certain times and then hopefully not again for a while. So that creates these really, really compressed, intense, I just can't stop saying that word, periods of doing a ton of marketing. And it does feel totally, totally exhausting. And of course, that's a recipe for burnout, especially because, marketing, oh gosh, these lights behind me. Marketing is just, another, it's very people skillsy oriented, right? And that's what our entire job is, sitting with people in hard stuff and having hard conversations. And, marketing involves having hard conversations because they're conversations we often don't want to have. And it doesn't really align either with our kind of, personalities that tend to not want to put ourselves out there. So like we're asking ourselves to do things that are hard, and we're asking ourselves to do things that are hard on top of an energy consuming, on top of a job that already requires that of us. But yeah, I think that a big part of it is that we don't market consistently, so we do have to do a lot in a short amount of time, like right when we're starting our practice, or with intensives when we're offering something new, or when we really need to put a shot in the arm to our practice that isn't doing well. It really requires us to amp up our marketing efforts. However, if we were being consistent and doing an hour of marketing a week instead of, oh, I'm good for now, I'm not going to do it for a long time, I do think the burnout would be less. And what I hope for these people that come out of my group is that they will have put so many pieces in motion that the maintenance will not feel as hard, right? That they've put a lot of energy into getting things going, getting the gears turning, getting some of the calls coming in. And I hope that they will find that they can set aside an hour a week or so to maintain that, whatever they've created. And that can be, social media, that can be following up with a couple of colleagues a couple times, emails a couple times a week, just like not letting those all that hard work just sort of fizzle out and then having to do it again in a big burst. Because I think all of us would like to think that marketing is something that you do and then you don't have to do it anymore. That has not been my experience. Like, I think certainly there are therapists who've been therapists forever and have this ongoing caseload that they never have to replenish. um, One thing about doing intensives is that you do kind of have to replenish your caseload maybe more frequently, because if you want to do 2 or 3 a month, that's 2 or 3 new clients a month. Maybe not. You might have repeat clients, but you are going to be, getting in a different, you know, type of client, right? A client that's looking for something different. So you are going to be kind of ongoing, like marketing in an ongoing way, especially if you're moving into an all intensives practice, right? But I just really hope that these therapists come out of this group with a plan that feels sustainable after they've like put so much energy into getting it off the ground and going and feeling consistent, feeling a little bit less daunting, right? That's the other thing too. Like by doing a lot of marketing over 12 weeks, hopefully some of the fear factor and the inertia around marketing is gone. I mean, a lot of the people in the group have been saying like they're doing more marketing now than they've ever done, which is another reason why it feels so exhausting, right? It's very much out of their comfort zone. But hopefully they've busted through those comfort zone issues and now the maintenance will feel manageable. I think the key is continuing to be consistent, right? Continuing to schedule that hour of marketing in every week, even if you don't, wish you didn't have to, and not letting it be the first thing to go when things get hectic, because the things that we let go first are often the things we don't want to do. Hello, for example, me, it's billing, right? Like any kind of billing stuff that I don't want to do, that I have to do, that goes first, along with like answering emails that I don't really want to deal with. So I know when I'm starting to feel that avoidance around those tasks, okay, something's up. I need to kind of, rejig my priorities, like dedicate a specific time each week to that task. Otherwise, or whether it's writing notes, otherwise it will kind of spin wildly out of control. And there I am with this insurmountable series of tasks that are actually feel even more insurmountable because it's been so long since I've done them. Okay, I'm talking a little bit about myself here, but I think that we don't want marketing to fall into that category, because like marketing is essential to your business continuing to run. Okay, like I don't think that in this day and age, to be a therapist who charges a high fee, that marketing is something you can ever totally lay off on, right? And the more you market and the more you network, the more other opportunities will naturally emerge, right? You're not just going to be trying to find individual clients one on one forever, forever, forever. That is going to be part of what your marketing is, but I wouldn't be surprised to see those seeds that you plant through your marketing turn into interviews on podcasts, guest speaking roles. Maybe you teach somewhere. Maybe you get invited to be a guest speaker in someone else's program, right? Like there's so many things that can happen when you get really, really comfortable with putting yourself out there and continue to do it in a consistent way, right? So, right, we get burned out on marketing because we're like very all or nothing about it most of the time. And we become all when someone forces us to become all, or when our financial situation dictates it. And then that sense of urgency and that sense of like do or die, certainly while it motivates us, it also is very, very draining. So ideally, we're doing the marketing in a way that's sustainable. And, I hope that um, by the therapists who have been in the program have done enough of the work to get their kind of marketing machine really off the ground for intensives that it will feel sustainable going forward. And if this is something that you identify with, is that if this episode has spoken to you in any way, I want you to know that my group program, the EMDR intensive 12-week intensive, would likely be a perfect fit for you. We'll get your marketing, we'll do that kind of big push of 12 weeks where you're going to work super hard and then reap the rewards and continue to like implement a little bit every day, every week. And then your practice will stay full. You'll have the practice you want with intensives. You'll know how to market them thanks to the program. You'll know where to market them and how, and you'll have people keeping you accountable to do so, all of that stuff. So the next cohort will be starting in the middle of January 2025, and we'll run through the middle of April, kind of like the spring semester of college and graduate school. And I know that I think I can guarantee that this cohort is going to fill because I have to cap it at 8 as per EMDRIA's requirements. Like you can only count the hours towards certification or towards being a consultant. You can only count group hours in which the group is no larger than 8. So the group will be capped at 8. So I don't want you to miss your spot if this feels like something that you are interested in and that you need. Reach out to me on Instagram at Future Template Parent if you want to get on the wait list. And if you're on the wait list, you're going to get some bonuses. You're going to get the lowest price locked in, all those good things. And that means that your name will be on there prior to the official launch of the program, and you'll get special deals and promotions. So if that sounds good to you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and find out if, ask me questions, find out if this really is the right program for you. I would love to have you in my January 2025 cohort. So I hope this discussion of marketing burnout has resonated with you a little bit. I think we all get there from time to time, and we need to find ways to allow us to maintain, like keep the foot on the gas a little bit with marketing, because in a lot of ways it's the lifeblood of our business, as much as we don't really want to think so, right? So like I said, please reach out to me if you're interested in my support, and certainly if you're interested in getting on the wait list for the January 2025 cohort of the group. You can reach out to me at Future Template Parent on Instagram, or you can go to my website, www.futuretemplateparent.com, where there will be updates soon about all the details about the January cohort. Thank you as always for listening, and have a great week.